This is KVUE News Night Beat.
I mean, there are times when I just want to curl up in a ball, just like a little baby, and just cry it all out.
In the school band, passionate about his hobbies, a bright light in everyone's life. Now a father forced to bury his young son.
If it can happen to him, and he can do this, it can happen to anybody.
The message he wants to share after his son committed suicide.
It is hard to think about what pushes a young teenager to commit suicide.
But it's something a lot of parents in Leander ISD say they're dealing with. They say since the start of the school year, at least 5 students have committed suicide.
The Night Beat's Aaron Jones spoke exclusively with the Cedar Park parent who suffered the ultimate loss.
That's right, Mike and Quita. This parent wanted to share his thoughts because he says he's experienced the tragedy of losing a child to suicide firsthand. Tonight, he's sharing his story to make sure it doesn't become someone else's reality.
Mitchell, let's see your mad face.
It's something no parent should have to do.
We'll never forget all the great things about him, all the positive attributes that he brought to this world.
This week, Don Pierce had to bury his 12-year-old son. 2 weeks ago, Mitchell Pierce took his own life. No one saw it coming.
We don't want to remember the one tragic decision that he made.
So instead, Pierce and his fiancee remember a bright young mind with the love of Rubik's Cube.
That was his latest obsession.
Hey guys, what's up? It's CyberCuber here.
This is a YouTube page he made to show off his collection.
He had probably 35, 40.
His other joy in life was the Cedar Park Middle School Band.
For the outstanding euphonium this year, I have chosen Mr. Mitchell Pierce.
Alongside friends he called family who are now hurting.
It just breaks my heart to think about them trying to process this at this age.
We as adults don't know how to process this.
Pierce keeps questioning how Mitchell's life could have been saved. It's hard for him not to blame the divorce he went through a few years ago.
He kind of wanted the family unit back. The relationship was between her and I was not what it needed to be.
And the feelings Mitchell was experiencing weren't talked about.
You know, I wish I could have the reset button and go back 6 months, a year, and have a do-over, because I do some things differently. But the biggest thing I do differently is to talk more.
As he continues to grieve, Pierce and his fiancée are learning communication is the key to healing. And it's with that key that you can open a door to a place where you're not alone.
Even in the most desperate time, you know, always look for the door out, because there's gonna be one.
They believe having just one helping hand who listens can make all the difference. It's a difference they hope others will make after hearing their story. And tonight, Mitchell's family says their strong faith gives them hope that he's in a better place. Quita, Mike?
Aaron, thank you. What a heartbreaking story. And if you or anyone you know might be having suicidal thoughts, please reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's open 24 hours a day, and that number, 1-800-273-8255.
We have been continuing to try to get more information about the suspicious death of an Austin defense attorney we told you about at 5 and 6. Travis County Sheriff's deputies say a man's body was found at his home on Rockwood Circle in southwest Travis County. That's between Highways 290 and Highway 71. KVUE's Rebecca Trejo has been following the story. She joins us live. Rebecca, what do we know at this time about what's going on?
Well, Mike, currently authorities have not yet released the name of the man publicly. However, they do say that they believe that he was targeted and he did not die of natural causes. However, they haven't released details on the extent of his injuries just yet, and paramedics tell us the man was in his 40s. Now, the sheriff's office found out about the crime when they received a welfare check call around 11:45 this morning. They later obtained a warrant to enter the home around 5 o'clock this afternoon. They say they have not yet identified any suspects. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation, so as soon as we get further details on this crime, we'll be sure to let you know. Live in southwest Travis County, Rebecca Trejo, KVUE News, Night Beat.
Thanks, Rebecca. A small group of protesters downtown today to voice their opposition to bombing Syria. They say the decision was, quote, irresponsible, given the growing friction with Moscow, which has condemned the U.S. airstrikes. Protesters blocked part of the street, so police came and moved them. Meanwhile, President Trump and his administration say he had every right to launch the 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at a Syrian airbase. Syria and its ally Russia calling the strike an act of aggression, saying it only helped ISIS fighters. The Pentagon notified the Russians before the attack, but did not warn Syrian forces. U.S. military is also investigating whether Russia had any involvement in the chemical attack.
The United States took a very measured step last night. We are prepared to do more.
Syria responded to the airstrikes today by having 2 jets take off from the airbase hit by U.S. missiles. The jets carried out strikes on areas under ISIS control.
After a sunny afternoon in the low 80s, it has just been a picture-perfect evening. Low humidity, light winds, and the temperatures have been comfortable. Beautiful shot from our downtown camera. Most spots in the metro now falling in the 60s, the exception Georgetown at 70. We're near the 70-degree mark here in Austin at 69. By morning, we'll fall about 10 degrees, upper 50s to start your Saturday. The wind on the increase, the humidity on the increase, and that will lead to thunderstorm chances, not for this weekend, but as we kick off next Work Week. Much more on that coming up.
Thanks, Albert. Happening now, the latest no refusal campaign by Austin police. They'll be giving suspected drunk drivers a blood test if they refuse a breathalyzer. And this is going to become a much more common thing. KVUE's Jay Wallace joins us now to explain the change you can expect to see.
When an officer pulls you over, a driver has his or her right to refuse a blood test if the officer thinks you are drunk with a blood alcohol concentration above 0.08. However, as Austin has seen during certain event-filled times, whether it be New Year's Eve or the Super Bowl, a no refusal initiative has gone into effect, simply meaning no driver can refuse a blood test if suspected of drunk driving. This past South by Southwest, a 2.5-week initiative brought with it 202 DWI arrests, with about half of these arrests requiring a search warrant for a blood test. But now this temporary rule is about to become common practice. Starting today and during every weekend in the month of September, there will be no refusal in Austin from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., which police say they hope will reduce the number of drinking and driving related incidents and accidents, especially with the additional detectives that will be available on these weekends. Some critics say this increase of no refusal violates a driver's rights against unreasonable search and seizure. While others say whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, drunk driving simply shouldn't be happening. In Austin, Jay Wallace, KVUE News.
And as always, Austin, don't drink and drive. We're dedicated to making sure you can get a sober ride home with our Drive Alive campaign. Find resources to get you home safely on our website.
If you're thinking of heading out for a late night snack, then you need to know about this guy. Austin police say this gun-toting robber is targeting fast food places that stay open late. In the last few weeks, investigators say he's held up 2 Domino's pizzas, 2 IHOPs, and 1 Chevron, most in the overnight hours. He's carrying a semi-automatic handgun with an extended magazine. Call APD if you think you know who this guy is. Austin ISD Board of Trustees member Paul Saldana is talking about why he's decided to leave his post early. The District 6 trustee still has 16 months left in his term and served a 2.5 years already. He says he's leaving primarily to spend more time with his family. This announcement comes days after Saldana voted against the district's facilities master plan on Tuesday. Among the plan's proposals is to consolidate schools with low enrollment, some of them in Saldana's district. However, he says this is not the reason he's leaving.
I think I've been able to bring forward and address a lot of the concerns that I had initially, and I have every confidence that the remaining trustees will be able to continue to address those issues. But now it's time for the community also to step up and to make sure that they hold the district accountable.
Saldana's last day is April 24th. To replace him, the district could hold a special election or appoint an interim trustee.